allowed to be as smart as your rank. So if it's not their idea, it's probably not a good idea until it becomes their idea. So I had to make it become their idea.
Welcome to Black and Blue, the podcast that's just for you. We bring solutions to everyday problems. We are here to humanize the badge by interviewing first responders and discussing their trainings, experiences, and publications. Black and Blue airs weekly at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in.
We got a wonderful guest here. Some of you may know him, have seen his publications. You may have seen his book that's on Audible. You may have seen him on TV. He's got the HBO special. He's a retired law enforcement officer with over 28 years of service. He's a deputy director of CSG at the Mental Health Unit Center. I'm sorry, fumbling over my words. He's also been featured on Nightline. He's also been on NBC's a Different Kind of Force. He's also received the Emmy Award for his HBO Crisis Cops. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm going to bring him to the stage because that's why we're all here. Ernie Stevens. Ernie, are you there?
Coach Glee, man, I'm here. You got me fired up, ready to go, man. Loving it. Hey, I had a 686 Smith & Wesson. I love that gun, man. A flame would come out of that thing like 3 feet long. And then I had to transition to the semi-automatic. But you have to evolve. You have to evolve based on the needs of the community as well. And right now, what the community is asking for is an alternative response to crisis calls. And I think that's what we're seeing a lot of agencies look at, is building out those types of models. So for those who watch the documentary, there is a scene where we get a call, we get dispatched to a young lady on a bridge who is contemplating suicide. She's on the edge. A very scary and intense moment where she wants to jump off. She's having auditory hallucinations. She's addicted to crack cocaine. She's basically given up on life. But somebody sees her and calls it in, and we respond. And it was all captured on dash cam and body camera, and it's shown in the film. Well, her name was Kendra. Kendra, spoiler alert, is doing good today. Thank God. And I met with her. I guess it's just, with Kendra, she's hit and miss because it's like life. It's life. Life has its ups and downs. And I met with her about 6-7 months ago for lunch. We usually try to meet a lot more often than that. But she was in between. She was moving around different family members and trying to get settled. But we met for lunch. I was with my wife, so my wife actually got to meet her. And then the clinician that's featured in the documentary, Amanda, who was there checking on her throughout the film, was just a few blocks away. So I called her to surprise her, say, hey, guess who I'm with? She's like, well, where are you all at? And I told her, she goes, I'm like 2 blocks away. So we had like this little reunion when we were having lunch, and Kendra decided she wanted to go back to school and get her GED, but she had lost her identification. So I helped her reapply to get an ID card and then start the schooling process. So last I heard, she's doing good. I'm glad we're talking about her because now I will be calling her tomorrow and checking on her. Tell them what's going to happen before it happens, so as it unfolds, their anxiety level goes down. It's no different than somebody giving you directions on like how to get to a birthday party, and as you're following those directions, you're like, oh yeah, you said left here, right here, third house, yep, there it is, right? As you're paving your way through there, you're like, okay, yeah, I'm on the right track. Everything sounds exactly the way it was supposed to be. So I call it guided imagery to help reduce anxiety. And then the warm handoff to the clinician or the treatment facilities, just the part of it. You've got to follow up on the back end as much as possible. Because I know, Coach, and just like you know where the front door of a treatment facility is to take somebody. Yes. We got that. But do we know what happens beyond the front door truly? Have we ever been in that situation? Do we know? No. And what happens at the back door? Are they just released? They need to know that, hey, I didn't forget about you. I'm here. What was your treatment plan and how can I help you be successful? It's difficult in smaller agencies because they just don't have the resources, but it's something that you can partner with your local mental health authority to be a part of that process. It's like, no, if this is not a criminal matter, we don't get involved. I got taught that very early on by my FTOs, right? Yep. But we do deal with the civil part of this law because an involuntary commitment is a civil commitment. But I didn't know the processes and I didn't know what facilities I should be using or where to navigate a patient based on age, gender, whether they were pregnant. I mean, all this plays a part. So this is why it's so important. Hey, get your agency to sit down and let's have the hard discussion of, hey, we want to build a robust system that benefits the community first and us second, right? That's what it has to come down to. And make sure that we're getting the patient navigated to the right place. So right now, again, at the Justice Center, we work with all 50 states in the United States. And what our primary job is in my division is we are kind of like subcontractors for the Department of Justice. So if you're an agency and you have received a Connect and Protect grant, which is funding to set up a co-response unit, that's usually an officer and a clinician that ride together, and you've received this grant, then we will come in and be your technical assistance advisor. So
by answering the call and doing a good job, it spawns off to something that's award-winning and necessary and needed.
Yeah, and you know what we found out was what we were doing truly wasn't unique. It was unique in a way of the way we were dressing and responding. You had some officers out there that were responding, but in uniform. Some would show up with a clinician. It just happened to be the perfect storm of the filming process, the transition and transformation that our local mental health authority was going through, because there was complete buy-in. We were no longer siloed. A lot of places, your police don't want to work with the mental health, and mental health don't want to work with the police, and it's very fragmented. Well, this framework that we were building, this collaboration, was what truly made it successful and why we became really a gold standard for years and years in San Antonio.